You had a school here, you had a community. This is a little more than a one-room schoolhouse. It's almost 9,000 square feet, if I remember correctly, out in the middle of nowhere. How can you not be drawn to something like that? This is a pretty amazing building. You can see the belfry almost when you turn off of Highway 3. Not quite, but you can, if you know what you're looking for, you can see that belfry there. The building itself, it doesn't look unusual. It doesn't look unusual at all. But out here in the middle of nowhere, it draws attention. There's nothing around here that's this big, including barns. You know, there's just nothing. This thing is huge. And you come into town and you see this huge building. And I always have to laugh if somebody asks me and they've never been here, well, where is it? Oh, you'll know. There's never a question once you come right into the town. If it was sitting in a city, even a town, you probably wouldn't, bat two eyelashes at it. But the building itself actually does have architectural features, even though it looks kind of plain Jane. It's a huge building that was used for educating our children, and that in and of itself is an important reason to keep it going. The building is listed on the National Register. That was one of the first things that we accomplished. The school's listed for two things: one, architecture; one, education. That is unusual in and of itself because most buildings are only listed for one thing. It was listed because of that belfry, that huge belfry up there. Belfries were a sign of the past. State of Oregon did not want belfries on their schools because that was not looking towards the future. And that's what they wanted to do with all the education, was look towards the future. But the community wanted the belfry. And so we have a belfry. So that's unusual. But then the belfry itself, how it was built, is unusual. Belfries past the Mississippi, and I don't have a clue why past the Mississippi were not open like that one is. That one's open to the four winds, so to speak. But belfries past the Mississippi weren't like that. They were closed off. They had louvres, generally speaking, and they were enclosed and you didn't see the bell. When I was doing the research for the National Register, one of the things that I came across was that the window configuration in the school was not supposed to be like this. They shouldn't have had windows on the front or on the side, but not both places. They could have them like in one-room schoolhouses. They have windows that are directly across from each other because the light rays are just meshing with each other that way. But when you have one on, which in the case of this room, the south wall and the east wall, those interconnect at 90-degree angles, pretty much. And so they thought at the time that affected kids' learning because all of those light rays were crossing in their brains in ways that they didn't understand and stuff like that. It was another thing about being a teacher myself and thinking, really? Okay. Yeah, the configuration of the windows was important. But that goes back to all those things that we've learned through the years, all those things that we didn't know years ago, but we knew how to do that skill and they knew how to teach. But supposedly as we go forward, we learn better ways of doing things, which isn't always true, unfortunately. We need to keep that history alive because if we don't, we're destined to repeat it. And believe me, we won't be repeating the good stuff necessarily. We'll be repeating the bad stuff. So need all of it together.